everyone, this is Adam Morris of lonestarball.com, and I'm checking in with a spring training update. Right now I just want to go over some of the injuries that have happened out in Surprise, give everyone an update on the injury situation as far as the Rangers and spring training goes. Yeah, there's a couple dings and nicks here and there. The Rangers are trying to keep it slow with a couple of players. Ian Kinsler's going to sit out a game today because of back stiffness, but most of those are nothing of significance. Injuries that really do sort of impact what's going on and are things to keep an eye on. First of all, has to do with the battle for the 25th man on the roster. Connor Jackson and Brad Hopp were both brought in here to compete with a few other guys for that last bench spot. Both of them would be vying for a job as a backup first baseman and bench bat, really, somebody who could come in late in the game and pinch hit. Now, Brad Hopp has been sidelined pretty much most of spring training because of a hamstring issue. He's supposed to be playing for the first time today, but he's been slowed really the first couple of weeks and gotten behind in the battle. Connor Jackson, on the other hand, had been healthy but ended up taking a fly ball off the head here recently in a spring game. Had to come out and get 5 stitches as a result of getting his head busted open. Jackson's situation is less of a concern than Hopp's. He's back on the field and should be fine. Hopp is just a miss because he's so far behind in terms of not being able to play so far this spring. It looks like his chances of making the team are significantly lower, and he's probably going to start the season in Round Rock. We've also got Mike Napoli. Napoli was scratched from a game yesterday because of a groin issue, and he's also been battling through trying to get his ankle healthy after having sprained it in Game 6 of the World Series. The ankle problem is really a significant concern. Those sorts of things can linger. Ian Kinsler said he spent all of last season playing through a bad ankle, and while it ultimately didn't really hamper Kinsler's performance, he had a great season. It's still one of those things where if an ankle isn't 100% during spring training, you got to be worried that it's not going to be 100% all year. And it's a bigger concern when you've got somebody like Napoli, who, if he's going to catch 100 games this year, is going to spend a lot of time squatting and putting a lot of pressure on that. So, the other thing to be concerned about with Napoli, with the groin injury as well, is that he's going to have to show that he can stay healthy and productive for a full campaign. He's been a part-time player most of his career. He's going to be looking for a big payday as a free agent after the season. And even in last year's breakout year, he spent a fair amount of time on the disabled list with an injury. So it's just something to watch out for, whether or not Napoli's going to be able to keep himself healthy for the entire season. Then finally, really the biggest injury problem the Rangers had, the most devastating news, is that reliever Matt West has got a problem with his UCL, his elbow ligament, and may be looking at Tommy John surgery. Now, West was a great story last year. He was a former second-round pick who had been a third baseman, was converted to the mound last spring, and just impressed everybody, both within the organization and outside of the organization, with an upper 90s fastball and a devastating breaking ball that made him a potential late-inning reliever. He also has a sort of mindset that people talk about in terms of being a closer, having a closer mindset. Aggressive out there on the mound, and just really had Rangers folks really excited about what the prospects held for him. West was going to be undergoing rest and rehab for the next 6 weeks to see if he can make it back without having to undergo surgery on the elbow ligament. But if he does have to have surgery, that's going to knock him out for all of 2012 and probably part of 2013. It's really bad news for a guy who seemed to be on the fast track to the majors. He wasn't really within the mix to be on the team's opening day rotation, but he was someone who, if he continued to make strides like he did last year, could have been in the mix later in the season. Possibly for a second half of the year if the bullpen had injuries, almost certainly to get a call-up in September to give the Rangers an extra arm when the rosters expand to 40. And so, let's knock on wood and hope that the rest and rehab route works for West, because if he does have to undergo Tommy John surgery, that'll be a big blow to the Rangers farm system and the depth they've got as far as their relief prospects. So, in any case, this is our spring training injury update. The good news is there's nothing major among any of the expected regulars or rotations, so that's a good thing. Hopefully that'll continue to be the case until the season kicks off, and we will be keeping an eye on it and providing you with more updates as that goes on. So, again, this is Adam Morris with lonestarball.com. Be sure to check out the website for more news and updates, and be sure to subscribe to the Lone Star Ball YouTube channel so you can get more of these video updates as well.